Hello and welcome back. Today we're continuing our series on the top 10 breakout fantasy players of 23-24, and today we're looking at number 5, Dylan Guenther. Now, if you watched last video on Wyatt Johnston, you may be wondering, in what world is Guenther better than Johnston? And I hear you, I do, but there is a case, so let's dive right in. In 2021, the Vancouver Canucks made a trade for Oliver Ekman-Larsson that may have cost Jim Benning his job. To be fair, he made a plethora of bad moves, but that one sucked, not just because of the massive overpay for OEL and Connor Garland, but also because the return included a top 10 pick in the 2021 draft, which the Coyotes used on Dylan Guenther. Guenther put up 45 goals and 46 assists and 91 points in 59 games with the Edmonton Oil Kings in his D+1 season, and then played 33 games in 22-23, putting up 6 goals, 9 assists, and 15 points before being sent back to junior. He started the 23-24 season with Tucson in the AHL, averaging around a point per game, good enough to earn him a call-up to the Coyotes. Once he got the call-up, he never looked back. Guenther saw some time in the top 9 with some good offensive players, and ended the season with 18 goals, 17 assists, 35 points in only 45 games. So let's break that down a little by looking at his player hub. Now, when we're looking at this, the first thing I notice is 94th percentile in goal production, 0.4 goals per game. That puts him on about a 32 goal pace over an 82 game season. Just for reference, Wyatt Johnston was nearly identical at 0.39, again a 32 goal pace over 82 games. The next thing I notice, 92nd percentile in shots, so 2.69 shots per game is really good, especially for a younger player. Sometimes they defer to the older guys on the team and try to pass a little bit too much. That's not the case with Guenther. He has a good shot and he does use it. 2.69 shots per game is really good. And for reference, Wyatt Johnston is really close at 2.63, but he does edge him out in that category as well. But the real distinction between the two players is on the power play. So you got 93rd percentile power play production out of Dylan Guenther. You compare that to 76th percentile for Wyatt Johnston. Johnston had 10 power play points and 3 power play goals. And then you compare that with Guenther, who's got the 13 power play points, 9 power play goals. So getting a little bit more of what matters in your points leagues. So most points leagues out there are going to weight power play points a little bit heavier, and some also weight power play goals a little bit heavier. And when you have 9 power play goals compared to 3, that is going to make a little bit of a difference in terms of fantasy impact. So that's one of the main reasons why Guenther is put above Johnston in this list. And the main reason why his production is higher is the power play time on ice. So Guenther averaged 256 per game on the power play last year to Johnston's 146. So that extra minute 10 definitely did help his offensive production on the power play. And that's one of the main distinctions between these two players, who are extremely similar in all other facets of the game. Now, when we look back at the previous season, this is 23-24, let's look at 22-23. You can see the numbers drop. He's in the mid-60s for most of these, and he's a little bit lower in both hits and blocks. And then you look at last season, he comes up in everything. He's still not much of a hitter or a shot blocker, but those did improve, and he improved across the board in every metric. So this is a guy who gets a nice even split between goals and assists, so the production is going to be relatively even for you. You're not going to have a Cy Young kind of guy who's going to put up a ton of goals but no assists, or vice versa. So that's nice to have, but he's also going to do it on the power play where it matters most. Now, you can still make the argument that Johnston is the better player based on his 5-on-5 scoring and their nearly identical metrics and that lack of power play time, but the power play point weighting is the key distinction there. I think the wild card here will be what the Utah franchise does in free agency. If they acquire a top-end free agent forward, that could diminish Guenther's power play ice time. But then again, it could also help improve his power play efficiency if he's still on one of the top units but now has more talent to work with. The good news is that if they don't bring in a forward, Guenther already has chemistry with Logan Cooley. So of all the line combinations the Coyotes used last year, 3 of the top 10 in terms of expected goals percentage featured Cooley with Guenther. So the Kraus, Bjugstad, Michelli line led the team in ice time and goals for, so it's safe to assume that they'll stick together next year. And then Schmaltz, Hayton, and Keller are second in both of those metrics, so we may see a continuation of these line combinations, which means Guenther will be playing with Logan Cooley. Both of these are extremely skilled young players who are having a nice little rookie season, or second season in Gunther's case, but could take that extra step next year, and both are very dynamic. I remember We watched Logan Cooley at the Australian games in the preseason, doing that fantastic spinorama goal, and then he had a nice charge out of the gate. Kind of took a little bit of a dip in the middle of the season and then kind of turned it back on later in the year. But when these guys get more consistent playing together, having that familiarity could make a nice difference. So with all that said, for me, there is no noticeable difference between Gunther's production and Johnston's, except for the power play numbers, which are weighted heavier in most points leagues, which is why he took the edge here at number 5. But what do you think? Am I crazy? Does Johnston deserve to be higher? Don't answer that until we finish the series, and stay tuned for number 4 on this list. But thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.